Ooh. That's exciting. Hi.
Yes, 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 very exciting. So I want to practice something. I
Okay.
want to practice speaking in a different voice.
Ah, okay.
It is to go with uh, paying attention to our emotions.
Okay.
There's nothing more potent than shifting your voice to make you aware of your emotionality, your
Okay.
state of being. Yes.
Yeah.
So see, it's so easy to fall back into those old patterns, right?
Hmm.
It's just amazing. And those patterns are the entrenched habit of your entire way of being.
Hmm.
Voice, a very direct way of breaking this. So I'm going to make this effort to speak differently. Now, I really want to go back into that so easily. The challenge, though, is to speak in a different voice that is different and is authentic and genuine and comfortable.
Hmm.
All right. Now, it is going to be slightly not uncomfortable or awkward, but difficult to maintain. Not because it's awkward or difficult, but simply because it's different and you're breaking habit.
Hmm.
So if we pay careful attention, it's not that I'm awkward speaking in a different voice. I'm not. But it takes effort to get out of your habits because the habits are so entrenched. It makes it so easy. Yeah. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, so this is very powerful, very powerful. So how's it been going?
It's been good. It's been a little chaotic. This week has been kind of um chaotic. Yeah, it just trying to get Christmas preparations done and fit everything in. So it's been a little wild, but I've been finding moments to squeeze in time to um, release, tune in, settle down.
Oh, to what? To what? To what? To what?
What now?
Right? Say again? Oh, I lost you. What
I
happened?
didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said you tune in to change to what?
Um, what's the word I'm looking for? What is the word I'm looking for? Maybe there's not one. Um, Inner calm below the turmoil, I guess. Just trying to tap into that place in self that's underneath the chaos.
Inner calm underneath the chaos.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. That's what you are attempting to connect to. Yes?
Mhm.
Wow. 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 Can you elaborate a bit on that? That blows my mind somewhat.
I think something that so we talked, I almost said yesterday, Tuesday, about the pause and how I'm trying to create a pause between emotion and reaction so that it can be a response instead of a reaction. Um, and so I'm finding that when I wouldn't even say in chaos myself necessarily, but just when there are hectic, chaotic things sort of happening around me.
Ah,
And
that's what I okay.
yeah, when there's hectic things happening around me and I realize, like, when I start to recognize that this is affecting me or that I need to kind of take a pause,
Mm.
then I'm trying to stop and just take a few deep breaths, even if that's all I can do, just take a few deep breaths and sort of refocus, recenter. Um, and that helps a lot with kind of bringing myself back to that place under the waves.
Ah, and this type of chaos that you experience, like, can you give an example?
Oh gosh, I mean, it could be anything. Just busy time schedule, having a bad brain day, an ADHD brain day,
Oh,
things not going right, being unmotivated and struggling with trying to get things done. I mean, anything that's just kind of where everything seems to be going by faster than I can keep up, or if things are sort of, if it feels like things are kind of spiraling, um, then even if I'm not like, if there's not some inner reason for me to be feeling chaotic, I can still be affected by whatever chaos is going on outside. So it's
ah.
helping me.
Do you
It's
think
helping me
this
a
may
lot.
be so again, please?
It's helping me a lot to when I recognize that that's happening in the external environment, and I'm starting to realize that I'm feeling myself kind of starting to then to stop and pause and kind of disconnect from that and reconnect with the calm inner space. That's helping a lot with just resetting.
Wonderful. Try the change of voice when that happens, even if it's only
Okay.
to yourself. It's
Yeah,
incredibly powerful
I
for
like it.
mood.
I like it.
Not only voice, but if you combine it with stance and posture and
Mm-hmm.
face, right? Those are all elements. Set your face differently, set your posture differently, set your stance differently. Because stance is different to posture. Yeah.
Right.
And then if you want to add an extra element in there, walk would be
Yeah.
an extra one, right? So all of those, they're all part of the same thing. But I think of all of them, the one that is the most fundamentally transformative directly and the easiest to do is voice.
Mm-hmm.
Voice is the easiest, walk second, then comes face and stance and posture. But those are incredibly powerful. I can literally become an entirely different person by shifting those, but it takes some
Mm-hmm.
work and effort to do. It's not easy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What notifications am I getting here? Did you get notifications?
I don't think so. Not anything unusual.
No. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Sorry. One second. Sorry.
You're good.
Uh, no, I really don't care for this, but I know now what the notification that I was
Oh.
getting, but now where did it go? Uh, Somebody needs to log into one of my accounts, and of course, since they haven't logged in from there, now it's asking for the confirmation, and it sent me the thing, click that this is you, but now where did that go to?
Mm.
That's what I saw, but now it's gone. Yeah. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh no, that's not it. Dang it. Um, Oh, and the person is very obtuse. All right. Sometimes you just got to be patient, and keep a calm voice. It helps. It helps. It helps, right?
I like it.
So,
It does.
all right. We'll get there. We'll get there. It is. It is. It's very, very powerful. And I do feel, and I've seen this with reading, that the more you practice voice shifting, the easier it becomes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like if I read something like, or like if I read Bina's poems, I can shift into the voice of the poem really, really easily.
Mm.
And I find this to be very profound. I'll show you, I'll give you an example here in a second. Let me pull up Bina's site here. And it especially is incredibly helpful when I do this when we edit her poems.
Yeah.
So then, because now yes, I do offer some particular editing suggestions, but because I'm tuned into, because first I'll read it aloud, and then I'll start the editing, because I need to hear the voice. I'm quite familiar with her poetry voice already, so it's quite easy right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll show you the examples here, for instance, in a second. So let me read this. And the sun closer, admiring that cup of tea, resting in front of me. We shared a known moment, and in that fate-filled brilliance, we decided to dunk our souls. We bathe and live that momentous radiance. Sun smiled. I drank that melted gold, and we are now forever known. I think this is a fabulous poem to
It
me.
is. I saw that the other day. It's so pretty. I love
Yeah.
it.
It's so cool. Anyway, so when she first wrote this, she had moment and then another moment. And then, she said, oh, I must add the and in, put on a separate line with a comma, yes. And then she didn't have it here. And I recommended she put it here. And then, I said, okay, change moment to something else. And, so this was changed. But you see that the style, there's a rhythm to her poetry that once you tune into it, it comes. And then when you shift the voice, like I was saying to Bina, that when you come and you read, right, and the sun came closer, admiring that cup of tea resting in front of me, we shared a known moment, and here it changes. In that fateful brilliance, there you've got to shift your voice, yes?
Right, right.
Because this is all sort of normal stuff, right? I mean, it's just like every day, kind of, right?
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden, now it's fateful brilliance. Oh, and we did. But this cues that when you shift your voice tonality, I don't know if you can hear it. It sounds to me like I change when I get there, right?
yeah.
And then it sets you up for the next line. We decide to dunk ourselves. This is like, wow, you've now jumped into a whole other type of story that you're telling,
Right,
right?
right,
And this is the poetry part, the huge part. But this is the setup, and then that's the shift to notify you of the setup, and then you sort of immerse in that profoundness, right, in the next three lines. And then, of course, with the next stanza, that's why it's a separate stanza. You jump into a summation, kind of an overview, yes, and a
right.
connectivity, your punchline, as it were. So,
Yeah, I like it.
bye. Tap link to respond. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, I see. Oh, well, all right. Sorry. That was me being dense. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me just type here 1 second real quick.
Yeah, no
Should be
problem.
good now. And Okay. There we go. Okay, 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 okay. Should be good now. Should be good now. Brilliant. So I do enjoy this, to read in other voices and with the book marketing, especially now. I have other books that I'm going to publish next. The first two, they're not my particular exciting topics, on the PSP
Right.
stuff. Not something I want to be in. But the next couple of books in that realism series are going to be Ask Biella books. I've got enough for at least two for sure. I may have enough to make three because they don't have to be the regular length books. They can be a little shorter too. And I do like those. Those are really cool.
Right.
So I want to start getting onto TikTok and Instagram
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
and, and do fun stuff there.
Yeah.
Like on TikTok, I'll post the same to Instagram, but I already downloaded a whole bunch of videos, like nature videos, actually.
Nice.
Some of them, some of them quite wild. Like, anyway, but well, all right. So there was just like the owl, right? Just a picture of an owl, and the owl is tipping its head and
Right.
tipping its head. And I was happened to be editing the book, going over the editing or formatting, and I saw like, and this is what made me give me the idea, was about preposterousness, and it's like, so I could read the quote like a line or two, and then look at the owl, position yourselves. Yeah, really, that's really how they are. And then I read a bit more now, which is it.
Right.
Truly, in other words, have some interactivity with the animals, but related to my content. And I
Yes.
think this would be kind of fun for TikTok, right?
It
Would be kind
would.
of cool.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. So, and I mean, there's a whole range of stuff like this, where you can basically connect it to whatever the video
Yeah.
is doing. It's just a gimmick, to
And
get to.
I will tell you,
Huh?
TikTok lives get what, like, I don't even know if Facebook does
Correct.
like
Correct.
sort of share your live to like anybody, whoever happens to be coming along. And TikTok is great about that. If you did
Yeah. Yeah.
like live sessions on TikTok, it will
Correct.
just share
Correct.
that to like whoever. And
Exactly. And this is what I want to do. Plus, both TikTok and Instagram have particular hashtags for books,
yeah,
Bookstagram and
yes.
BookTok.
Yep.
And so this is very important. So, you put, yes, hashtag author and all this other stuff. But it's now I'm building an author site.
Yeah.
And I do belong to a Facebook group. I think I mentioned it, right? The 20 books to 50K.
Yes. Yeah.
And they share all their details. And beside them elsewhere, I think it was on the Rachel Maddow show, or at least on Facebook somewhere, I saw that this one politician is like your typical older Democratic politician,
Right.
the white. Yeah. A very conservative looking fellow, even though he's a Democrat. He's not quite like Bernie, who's got a little bit of verve and
Right.
wildness, right? He's just a crotchety old man, Bernie.
Right.
But he's just a plain simple fellow. But he started posting on Instagram, and he's got this big following
I'm telling
because
I'm telling you.
because he made a bit of fun of himself, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what. So I started to say, TikTok is very undervalued, and I realize that now. What surprised me was the demographic.
Mm,
That's what made me shift. And I said, wow, okay, yes, I've always known TikTok is super powerful, but I thought the demographic was like preteens, I thought principally
yeah.
was the
No,
main. But
it's
no, it's not. At least it's changed. I think it's changed because it was so hot that everybody started coming. And now, and I said to Bina, but look, you know what? People like Erica on there. There
yeah.
are sensible people on thing. I know Erica's on there, so are there other
I
Ericas, right?
I have
No.
found more really awesome people on TikTok and Instagram than anywhere else. I mean, and it's funny, like TikTok especially. I mean, that's why TikTok is so valuable in many, or why it started out being really valuable in many ways, was because of their proprietary algorithm. I mean, their algorithm is spot on. If
Yeah,
you
yeah.
if you start, I think once you kind of start gathering a following of people that have particular similar interests, then it
Yeah.
starts showing your content to
Two
other
more.
people
Two more.
that have the
Yes.
same kind of interest. So it's not
Yes.
showing it to
Yes.
random people. You're more
Yes.
likely for it to be shown to
Yes.
people that are
Yes.
actually going to be interested in what you have to say.
So on that note, see, and then I saw somebody sharing about what they did on TikTok, and this was very stuck with me, very profound, and it made total sense. She said, if you're going to be building yourself as an author, who are you targeting? Are
Right.
you targeting Sir Sebastian followers? No, you're not, because they don't know. They don't know that they're interested in you yet.
Right.
So if you share only your stuff, then you're wasting your time. Now,
Yeah.
if you've already got a big following elsewhere, you've got a mailing list of 100,000 people, you're popular bookseller, then you can share only your stuff because you're already there. But
Right.
to get
Right.
there, you need to target readers.
Mm-hmm.
And so they said, look, share about stuff from your book, yes, but mix it up with sharing stuff about other books.
Yeah.
Makes total sense because you now connecting to readers. As you said, sometimes all I do is take somebody who's related to me in my field somewhere. I just put their cover up. I don't even say anything,
Right.
and this gets people coming to me. So like Gabo Mate,
Yeah. Yeah.
since that came up. I mean, I don't know anything about him. The only reason I recognize the name is because when I did a category search or
Mm.
competitor search in one software thing that I have, his name comes up, right? So, and I used him to link to my ads on Amazon. Oh, anyway, so, but this is now I have to obviously read Gabo and then comment on it, and then Bina said, that I can do reviews. Well, beside the books now, but on, like, I was sharing with her about the World Cup, like I did with you. And
Yeah.
I had a slightly different perspective on it. She says, well, do a review on the World Cup. In other words, share your alternative angles on stuff, because now you're bringing in more people. Okay, World Cup might not exactly be somebody who's tangentially related to what I'm doing, but the idea is there. So
Yeah.
it's very cool. So I quite look forward to doing this. Actually, I must say, I do. So it's quite exciting because both my blogs and Facebook, the blogs never started as a promote me activity.
Right. Right.
Never had that. It was for me to write and share and develop, and essentially I'm writing to myself and I'm practicing. When I first started, I very deliberately practiced writing to learn to like writing. I never liked
Right.
writing.
Right.
I never wrote all my life. So I developed this. I cultivated not just the skill through practice, but also enjoying it and making
Yeah.
it easy.
Yeah.
It was very conscious and deliberate exercise. It was very useful, powerful exercise. We can really do things if we want to quite easily. And also when I write my posts, I'm exploring an idea and working it out and all this. So yeah. So what is QTP? I have no idea. I tell people I'm on Zoom, but no, do they listen?
Well,
They just no. I need you now. That's it. Priority. I am priority. Because all right. I suppose I should have just ignored them in total and said in the first place I'm on Zoom, but because they were stuck and it was okay, quick.
right.
I had to
Right.
just to verify the thing, and then they could get in. It seemed a waste for them to have to wait all the time. But the discipline, measure it out. So anyway. All right, so we hope. So yeah, I'm quite excited about this because it's a different focus. Where I am sharing content, whatever, interesting stuff, fun stuff, and it's understood on TikTok that you are doing this to promote yourself in some way, right?
Right. Right.
So yes, I suppose it is on Facebook kind of, but not really, because Facebook, you're sharing you, not promoting a product or a thing, right? So it's slightly different. It has a different focus and a tune, and I think that may also be part of the popularity, because pretty much everybody on TikTok is doing it for a purpose of some kind. Yes.
Um, it depends from what I've seen. I mean, sometimes people, I mean, like for me, I was really using it as just a creative outlet.
Correct.
So
Correct. Your purpose. Right.
some people are doing that, you know, they're just doing it for a creative outlet.
Yeah.
Some people are doing it to promote specific things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people are doing it as sort of a, I mean, like several of the people that I've found use it as a way to do sort of group, um, what am I even, I mean, it's kind of like the open Friday stuff. Uh,
Nice,
no,
nice, nice.
they'll do a live every morning, and it's just sort of, you know, okay,
One.
we have like
Yeah.
regular
Connectivity, in
people
other
that,
words.
yeah, we have
Yeah.
regular viewers that tune in, so let's chat, you know.
Like a podcast, almost like a vlog. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Um, uh, I was going to say also, um, yeah, when I mean purpose, it's like, purpose of creativity. I think people go on Facebook simply because they sort of have to, and it's just to be there. And yes, I guess there is a purpose, which is, I guess, to absorb and see what other people are doing. But I mean, it's not a personally related purpose, as it were. You know what I mean? They
Right,
just put it
right.
up, and that's it. It's a little bit fuzzy, as it were, right? There's
Well,
no
and it,
real
I
purpose
mean,
to it.
for me, um, Facebook, I mean, it's just fascinating the way social media shifts and changes. And
Yes.
from my experience, mostly, I mean, not as as a general rule, not just across the board, but generally speaking, the majority of people, of younger people, are rarely on Facebook anymore. And that, I mean, that has become sort of my, that just sort of happened naturally where I moved away from Facebook and migrated more to Instagram and then to TikTok. And that seems to be like, I've noticed that a lot of other people, sort of millennial and Gen Z, have moved over to these other platforms. So on Facebook, a lot of what you're getting is a limited audience. You know, you're now only getting people that are
Yes.
there to post pictures of their grandkids or, you know, keep up with their friends from high school or whatever. Um, so a lot of the, like, I guess I would say Facebook has moved out of the sort of creative realm.
Correct.
There's not
Correct.
a lot of people doing creative things on Facebook anymore.
Yeah.
It's mostly moved to other places.
Yeah. It's also, Facebook is kind of, it's just whatever stuff, it's more like you just part of the community,
Right.
and you can't not be a part of the
Right.
community.
Right.
For what reason, I don't really know,
Yeah.
but well, you sort of got to be there.
One
So
thing I
yeah,
have
I
seen is
yeah.
that Facebook groups continue to be
Yes,
a popular
yes,
thing. Like
correct.
that is one of the only reasons I continue to get
Yeah,
on Facebook is because
yeah.
of the different groups that I'm in.
And also, though, I don't know for other groups, but I can say for the Sassy group, I was just going through it with Bina today, actually, that again, it's a very the rate of interactivity is fairly low. And I've seen this in other big groups that are like the writers group. I mean, they have like 200,000 people. I think it's 250 or whatever now.
Mhm.
The number of people that regularly commit and say it's the same people all the time, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you take it as a percentage, it's like 0.01% or something of the people. It's very, very low. Right,
Interesting.
right. Yeah, 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 yeah. The interactivity is very low. Whereas on the other platforms, it's much higher, right? And
Yeah.
from what I understand on TikTok, it's way higher.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the first point. The other point that I noticed is that, yes, in the group now, we're at like, I think 62,000 people. So it's a large group, right? I mean, those groups over 100 or 200,000, those are very few of them that are that large. So they're the super large groups. But 60,000 is a large group, a very large group, right? There's very few even that are over 10 or 20,000. At any rate, and for the most part, when I first started, I just accepted anybody. It was very
right.
to build the numbers, but then I started weeding them out, and now it's like I'm very strict with who comes in. But nonetheless, though, there's still this low interactivity. It's more like pretty much everybody is just a lurker, which is very
Yes.
different.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that makes a very big, because I look at doing, on every Friday now, I'm doing, instead of the open Fridays, I'm doing the course, the Freedom from Anxiety and Worry course, live on Facebook in the group. But I get people come and they attend and they maybe comment or two, and but the amount of interactivity is ridiculously, absurdly low. And I'm like, why do I bother, really?
Right.
So
Right.
I mean, and when I do, promote anything of my style, nothing, So, and I see others, because occasionally, like with Frauke, she promoted her program. She got 50 people who said, I'm interested, free, whatever. Did any of them follow up? No, zero.
Wow.
It's amazing. They all say, oh, sign me up, sign me up. And then, okay, but none of them attended. So,
Wow.
and I've tried this with quite a few different people, probably about a dozen or so, at least, who tried to promote stuff. They all gave up.
Yeah.
One person said, I got a paying customer out of
Mm.
it. But
Well,
they also gave up. Even after that, they gave up. So
wow.
I find this very, very interesting how, I don't know, maybe the group is a bit sales resistant because, I don't allow ads and I'm very strict in taking that out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Uh, gosh, they were so unclear. They just kind of reference stuff. I don't know what you're talking about, but now that they say what it is, okay, well, it's very simple. You need the number. So I don't
It's
know what
funny.
the QTP was, and I didn't say. I asked, but anyway, yeah, 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 yeah. I don't get this. Why things have to be said in a circumlocutive way. It's very peculiar. I'm sort of trying to understand what's the payoff? What's the logic? Why not just say, hey, get me the code number from it was texted to you. The same that point. That's what they were asking me for.
Okay. Okay.
But I got a half a dozen comments and on questions and asks and this and that. Like, wow, just
Interesting.
ask for that. Yeah, it's quite fascinating. I don't know what you're trying to say, but all right, we get there in the end. That's all they wanted. They wanted the code. So, well, first they sent me a link that I had to click and approve. And
Okay.
then they tried again, and then they said, "Okay, we're sending you the code this time to that number." I guess because Amazon is seeing this is that's for Amazoners to
Right.
log into the. So they say, "Oh, it's from a different thing." So all right. Anyway, fascinating. Just psychology is too fascinating. It's
That's
too
true.
fascinating. I think that sometimes when people are this kind of indirect roundaboutness, this I call it obtuseness. They're not really being obtuse, but it's this lack of wanting to say and ask specifically.
Yeah.
is because they've gotten into the habit of not doing that, so they can't be pinned and they
Mhm.
can't be responsible. Because if I ask you for something directly, now I'm asking a direct favor, and this means that I'm obliged or whatever. You see now, okay, in this case, really, it's like, seriously, does it matter for this?
Right.
Obviously not, but they're in the psychology of not doing that, which is quite profound, no?
It is. It's true.
How those habits carry over. Really, really fascinating to me. Really, really, really fascinating. All right. So anyway, just to get back to TikTok real quick, I'm kind of keen to do this because I think it'll be very fun, and I do also pay attention to, your chicken videos. I do still enjoy them. So yeah.
Well,
I enjoy all
someday.
videos, not just chicken videos, all the ones you do, all your TikTok stuff. I really enjoy it. But I see the value of it, and in the blog and on Facebook, I could never do that. It just didn't feel appropriate to me. Right? Yeah, and I think you feel the same in a certain way, right?
About.
The platforms have a different appropriateness
Oh,
for what's there too.
yeah, 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 for sure.
Yeah. And this kind of direct, yes, I'm sharing stuff that's valuable and fun. And I'm going to share from my books and also from other stuff. But the point of it is, hey, I'm an author promoting my book. This is kind of clear and obvious, right?
Yeah,
And nobody holds that against you. And promoting me, I'm building people to follow me, as it were. I never looked for followers ever before. So that's going to be an experience. It's going to be fun.
yeah.
That'd be very interesting. So yeah, the books are different. All right, all right, all right, all right. Focus. Cool, cool, cool. Focus, focus, focus. As fun as that stuff is, it's not always the most pertinent and relevant, right? I am keen to continue where we were.
Me
Yes.
too.
Before we continue, I am also keen on. I think we touched on it briefly, but then I think we got a bit distracted. Um, uh, in having fun, which is a good distraction, right? um, in terms of the aspirations, it's an open thing, that list. And I was thinking about it. Maybe an aspiration to put on there is, I aspire to have aspirations.
Yeah, yeah,
I aspire to aspire, so that you setting that intent for things to come.
yeah.
Yes, or
I know I
aspire
have.
to motivation.
I know I have aspirations. The biggest thing is getting clear on
Correct. Correct.
consistent aspirations. What the deeper ones are.
Yeah, yeah. And also, I would say that if you do add something on the list, put it in as a temporary,
Right.
right? And, write very clearly, right? And say, okay, this is on my list right now, but for now, I aspire to find motivation, for
Right.
instance. That's clearly a temporary aspiration. And that's very valuable to do that. And also, in making the list, if you, all right, let's say you say, all right, let me set aside my longer term list. Let me make a preamble list, a
Right.
temporary list, and you put rough things there, and you say this is very rough, and you do it for the purposes of emphasis, enhancement, connectivity, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Ah, Jesus. Sorry.
No worries.
I only get 2 days. Well, they're looking up the reports and the stuff here. It's like, yes, of course you're only going to get today. You have to set the time, or choose. Never mind that I'm on Zoom. I'm just fascinated, really, really, really fascinated at this. How someone can completely subvert their awareness to be unaware, but are they really unaware?
Yeah.
I need now.
Is this a person that has been on Zoom with you before? Like, do they understand how that works?
Yes, I mean they understand what Zoom is about. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, 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 yeah. Right, right. Yeah. And so they see only 2 days now. the vibe is this is my fault.
Right, right.
Somehow I'm only letting them see today's where they want to see the whole years.
Hmm.
I'm not hiding anything from you. It's right there. All you got to do is click the drop down box and select the date range. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like I am absolutely inordinately fascinated how agendas can distort perception. Right?
yeah.
It's like a form of confirmation bias, but it's in an inverted way in a sense.
Hmm.
Very powerful. It's very powerful. Their expectations cloud their awareness, and they literally don't see things right there in front of their nose.
Right,
I mean, and don't think overview. It's like you're looking at the reports. Do you think Amazon is only going to show only one thing?
right.
You know, I mean, sure, you must have this. It's like kind of the logic of how sites work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's too fascinating. Too fascinating. Yeah. Intriguing, intriguing. But this is key though, to see it as fascination rather than as botheration.
True.
Right? So my social scientist gets pulled out of the bag very, very, very often. Yeah. But also, I never forget the compassion.
Yes.
This saves me a lot of times. Like I don't know how often you look at the sassy group. So one fellow, well, first of all, he took umbrage at somebody. They make a series of TikTok posts. I think they got that format or Instagram. They're very short, maybe half a minute or something, but it's about toxic churches, and they called it toxic churches. So and they would say toxic churches be like, or toxic pastor, yeah, and they would that was their, and they I try not to bring demographics in it, but they are dark complexioned
Yeah.
members.
Yeah.
And because that's the language of that particular thing. Toxic churches be like, and then they would give an example of what would happen in the toxic church, and they would quote stuff almost directly.
Hmm.
And it's very powerful. Like, what they're sharing, they're basically exposing the narcissist leverage points and how they do this, right? So, of course, somebody took real umbrage at this and said, "Oh, you don't allow religious stuff and attacks against religion." And I said, "But this is not anything against the religion." He couldn't understand that toxic church doesn't mean toxic religion.
Interesting.
If he actually watches the things, he'll see these people are very sincere, very earnest, very genuine. And I'll bet you anything, they're quite religious themselves. They're probably deeply religious Christians.
Right. Right.
Really bothered by this abuse of the church. They're not, but he couldn't understand that toxic church meant the individual church. Now,
Right.
yes, they're not saying the church on 4th Street in Baltimore. No, they're saying churches. This could be anywhere in the country, but it doesn't apply to the religions. Like, come on,
Right. Yeah.
And so I pointed this out to him. Okay, all right. So he sort of, well, okay. Now he
Right.
realized that he put his foot in it and he got mud on his face. Now, of course, in order to balance this, he's got to find fault with everything that I post.
Right. Right.
So now it gets tiresome, And then he had something they made a post about uh, the narcissist, the BMN pastor, um, getting on to people about what they're wearing, like, oh, but you can't be wearing jeans to church. Like, how do you disrespect the church and what's wrong
Right.
with you and all this? And so they were pointing. So his post on this, his comment was, "Oh, you see now you can't even wear clothing to church or nice clothing to church." Like, that's not what they're saying,
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
and so, but anyway, so I made a lot of posts to respond to him, because I don't think he's directly negative. He's just caught up in a bubble. So I just leverage my compassion to Crowley. But I think that especially with people like that, they get an idea that they know stuff, and
Hmm.
then they think that their perceptions are the truth, and he gets it so completely wrong. It's unbelievable.
Right.
It just fascinates me. Like, and they don't listen to what they say. So like I make a lot of posts about contextual meaning and should, and lately a couple of them have come up about, the dangers of should. No, but should always means, and should must mean the same thing all the time. And words can't mean different things in different circumstances. Huh?
Interesting.
How do you get that right?
Yeah.
They must always mean the same thing. This is what science relies on and philosophy and everything. It's like, dude, even in law, they go to great lengths to specify in science what the term they're using precisely means, because they know it changes. I mean, just look in any dictionary, you'll see meaning one, meaning two. But he's stuck on this, and I pointed it out. He kind of doubled down.
Yeah.
It's astonishing how the idea corrupts the reality. Shadow thoughts, shadow thoughts,
Yeah.
shadow thoughts. And I mention it because of dealing with it. It's a challenge. It takes inordinate time and patience and effort, and you have to really dig deep to appeal to the inner honesty and say, okay, yes, you have to kind of agree. It's just cavalry diplomacy. It just work. But the compassion is what enables that work.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Without that compassion, there's nothing happening. Then it's just irritation and botheration, and say, dude, you're just being a pain in the butt. I'm just going to kick you out of the group. Life is easy. I don't need to do this. If you don't like the group, then don't be here.
Right.
But he gets a lot of value. I bet he's been kicked out of other groups.
That's the thing that always amazes
this group and one other. And the other group, there's nobody in it, and he quotes from them all the time. Just one guy posting stuff. It's not really a group.
Yeah, that's one of the things.
Fascinating stuff, distorted psychology. But, again, it connects to what you're doing in terms of paying attention to your inner moods. Okay. It's a massive thing, because those moods, when you get feeling belief loops, they affect your thoughts. And likewise, the thoughts affect the feeling of belief, right? So it's all connected. And it's very powerful, very, very powerful. You see, I got all excited and I forgot my voice there, so I'm going to come back to my voice. It's good. It's good practice. It's mindfulness practice. It's very powerful, very powerful. All right. What else are we doing? And just on a note of housekeeping, I didn't start just yet, but I will do the audiobook. This is important. I literally have not had time. Where does the stuff to do come from?
I don't know, but if you find out, let me know, because oh my gosh, it's amazing, isn't it?
It's astonishing. It is beyond astonishing. I mean, I literally have like 30 tabs open. Okay, some of them I typically have maybe a dozen or 2 dozen, probably 2 dozen. Tabs open on that I like. I like to keep my windows, not tabs, windows,
right.
Of the things that I use regularly, like my email or sites that I go to, instead of opening and closing all the time. It's just me. But I have a whole bunch more of stuff. Oh, this is open because it needs taking care of. It needs to do of some kind, So, and I haven't had a chance to do it. But I get there. I do want to do the audiobook though. So this is very key. So you can maybe hold off reading, because I will do that.
Right. Okay.
I mean, even if I don't get it put out there, it doesn't matter. I'll send you the files and you can access it.
Right. Well, I appreciate it very much. That's awesome.
What are your time chunks that you typically listen in?
Let's see. It kind of depends on what I'm doing, but usually I listen when I'm like getting ready in the morning. So it could be like 30 minutes or so.
Okay. Well, in that case, then I might just send you the files, because it will be a lot easier than sending one big file. I'll just send you the chapters as I do them, or sections of the chapters. I know some of the chapters are very long, so they would be, a long. They won't be 30 minutes, but most of them would likely be, the shorter chapters might be 30 minutes roughly, more or less.
Right.
Not that they have to fit in the time, because, you just kind of pick up where you left off last time, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. But I do think that's not a bad idea to send you the files as I do them, right? That will put pressure on me to keep doing them. And you jump between books anyway. So if you get a little, it's not an issue for you to jump, right?
No, it's not.
Okay. Wonderful. All right. Cool. Yeah, even if and that maybe make it more doable for me to break it up. I think there's like 20 or 21 chapters, something like that. So, it's a month, and also I can maybe even do two a day. And, now we're taking 2 weeks. Okay. And then it's done, so, or even 3 a day, and then it's a week. And so, all right. Then everybody's happy. I'm motivated.
I like it.
Yeah. This is the other thing, though. It's the motivation that's keen. With this particular book, like I said, I'm not wildly motivated on the book itself. Yes, I do feel it's important and valuable. And yes, it is. I know for a fact it's important and valuable. Like with Sher and Jessica, for them and others too. And they're just the more recent ones that this book means everything to them. It's
Yeah.
just changed their lives, and others have said the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's still not something that I'm like, okay, not something I want to spend my time involved discussing and
Right.
interacting. Right. Whereas the other ones, this is, now I'm excited. So it's very important to understand one's own motivation also.
Mm-hmm.
But they do serve a value in that I get to test all of the things. So when the important books come, I know all the mistakes already. I've made them already
Right.
because that
Right.
always
Yeah.
happens. So there is a great value in this. So they're learning mechanisms. Right? So very, very useful in that sense. Very useful in that sense. I do feel at some point likely, not likely, but I very much think that, I don't want to sort of, influence or salvage things, but I think you would write a fabulous book.
Wow, I appreciate it.
I really do. And it doesn't matter on what. It's totally irrelevant. I mean, you could write it on, taking care of chickens, just
Right.
for example. And no matter what you write it on, is will be potent. So a quick point before we get on, go back to hearing and helping. Uh, Frauke recommended she connected to somebody and they had a free Christmas giveaway. And I've attended some of these things before where they give you free courses of whatever, right? And I still get daily emails from people that, stuff
Right.
like this. I'm very seldom read the emails, but every now and then I look and say, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
It keeps me connected a little bit. And that's why I don't, just eventually block them or, unsubscribe. I guess I wouldn't block them. I just unsubscribe. But because it keeps me connected a little bit, even though I just see the titles, the subject lines, that's enough. So on this one, the person doing the giveaway, it was mostly online, online, like online marketing stuff. Like if you got an online business and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. So typically that, but they had other things in, and they had like, I don't know, 400 and something free stuff to give away. So they had a whole great big range of it. So one of them was, marketing, but marketing that's not that push hard, marketing that's got more integrity and all this. So the thing they said was that, that tell your story. And she explained, she said, look, your story doesn't mean to give your whole life story. It's
Mm.
just to say how you came to be where, okay, I'm on Instagram because of, well, I don't know, my job got boring and I wanted to do something exciting and this is why I'm here.
Right.
That's your story. And she said, it doesn't have to be complicated. She didn't say that actually the simplicity is what helps. Well, she did kind of say that. But this is something for me that I was telling Bina
Okay.
is I don't always connect with people because I'm like in this other world to them.
Interesting.
This on Facebook, in the group. Like this particular guy, he doesn't get what I'm saying. The subtlety, the nuance that I'm speaking about, contextual perception. This is like his brain can't comprehend it. He's just not in that space. Now, right, he's not the ideal person that I'm looking to. But on Instagram, that's what she was saying. People are going to connect with what is similar to them. So share one part. You've got 1,000 stories. Just share one or another.
Yeah.
That's it. So have this connectivity. And I thought that was quite a cool point to make, because it's not that obvious. Now I'm aware of it from the group already, but still, it's a good point to be aware of. And this is what I'm saying. You have so much, but whatever you do, especially if you do it targeted, it will connect because of how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yeah.
and that's when you look at TikTok and you look at those successful TikTokers or Instagrammers, right? You see that this is always the case. They come at it from a single simple point, but then when you start, oh, but there's more. Oh, but there's more. Oh, well, they're kind of sharp about this. And look, they're doing this. Oh, I never would have thought of that, right? But they start with that simple connectivity, right? In other words, you and me, we're the same, but all right, I'm doing a little. You could do this too if you just put your mind to it, kind of a deal, right? So very important, very important, very interesting. All right, all right. We're gonna we do. Sorry, I've been jabbering away like 10 to the dozen here, and I didn't even get a chance to ask you anything going on with you, anything important there,
Oh,
rooting around, bubbling away. Yeah, yeah.
nothing like earth-shatteringly important. Just kind of same old, same old. Just like we talked about on Tuesday. So thinking, reflecting, observing, all the usual.
I say again.
Just what we talked about on
So
Tuesday.
you're really soft. I don't know why you gone soft. Why are you gone soft?
Uh-oh, now I think the audio is cutting out.
Sorry, Erica. Let me look in the settings here and turn up. There you go. There you go. I don't know why you were so soft all of a sudden. Right. So please say again.
Well, I just said nothing really different from
Oh,
Tuesday.
you're frozen now.
Oh, well, that's good.
No. Oh, nothing really different from Tuesday. I got you. You got up now. You got up now. Am I frozen? What's happening?
So it
I'm
doesn't.
here.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, you just for whatever reason the volume went low, so I lost you for
Oh,
volume for a second. But yeah, say nothing particular. In this the daily practice though of paying attention to the feelings in the moment, is that progressing? Is there movement there?
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like. I mean, it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's an average. It's not like cranking away at a very regular pace. I mean, things kind of come and go, but yeah, it is.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Here we go. Here we go. That's what I want to do. And then this here, and then go the screen. Watch like a heart rate monitor and blood pressure. I can make phone calls through my watch just to catch you up on the things while this loads. Am I very delayed, Erica?
Yes, and it like completely cut out. I didn't realize you were even talking, and then all of a sudden it came on and you were talking.
Oh, okay. Let me leave and come back then.
Okay.
That yeah. I was going to say because I noticed that between when I say and you react,
Yeah.
disconnect.
All of a sudden I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute, he's talking."
Yeah. And I'm like, wow. Yeah. All right. I think this is where we were, right? Right before the recap here. I
Um,
don't think we'd started the recap yet.
um,
Yeah, this is the end of the poem. We were on, or did we move past the poem already?
yeah, we moved past the poem. I thought we had started the recap.
Oh, we did. Attention is power. We always give our full and complete attention. I don't remember this.
It's
All
fuzzy.
right.
Sorry, it righted itself a minute ago, but it's back to being.
Okay. I, let me try something different here. Try some. All right. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Is it still lagging?
The audio was fine. It's the video is fuzzy. I can't really read the screen.
Oh, Bina had this also. And it hasn't cleared up yet?
No, it did before, but it hasn't now.
Oh, okay, okay. Then would you leave and come back real quick? Because that's what solved it for Bina.
I will try.
Please, sorry about that.
No worries.
Is that better?
No, but I'm gonna give it a second. Let me try like resizing my screen and see if that shakes things into. No.
Okay, one other thing to try is leave the share screen and come right back.
Ah, there we go.
So simple sometimes. So simple.
That is much
Ah,
better.
you read, since my thing is lagging. Please.
Attention is power. We always give our full and complete attention. Our attention has implications which are significant, important, and matter.
Yeah.
Attention is a communication which is also enabling.
Oh, attention is a communication which is also enabling.
Okay.
Wow. 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 That's pretty huge, no?
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty cool point.
I like the dandelion fluff in the background too.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Attention and emphasis are intimately linked.
Yeah.
Attention is a deep responsibility.
It is. It is. Because it materializes also.
Right?
Right. Right. I don't think many realize that connection between attention and materializing. Yeah. Very interesting.
We aim to hear, notice, and connect to more to become aware of more.
Mm. Erica, just on that point about attention materializing,
Mhm.
um, for me, this is something that's a real big topic. I see it regularly, but it's typically on inadvertent attention,
Okay.
right? Like I'm paying attention to something, but it's not my main focus. It's like an aside, and then that materializes.
Right.
Right? When it's very focused and deliberate, then yes, sometimes, but I have to do extra to have that happen. Right?
Hmm.
And I think it's the universe trying to make you aware of the relationship between awareness and materialization, and also obviously to also let you know that yes, it's available, it's possible, but you need to have the responsibility and the impeccability and the ethics and everything else to deal with this. So it
Right.
like entices you, but it doesn't quite give you full access.
Hmm.
That's the way it seems to me. And I wanted to ask if you notice any kind of connection between your attention and things coming into being, happening that are connected or related.
Um, well, it's interesting because when that's happened, I think I always, um, I don't want to, I guess maybe theorize, um, whether it's really bringing the thing into being or whether it's just that because of the emphasis,
You
I'm just
notice.
noticing it. I'm noticing it for the first time. And I think it could be
Yeah,
kind of a combination of both. I mean, I do think our attention does create
yeah,
things, at least in our own experience. But it is interesting that, and I mean, I think that's, for me, I guess it's an encouraging thing to think that it is just um, a product of my noticing things, because then it means there's infinite possibilities
Correct.
of things to notice. And it's just
Yes.
that whatever I happen to put my attention on
Yes.
is what, becomes part of my reality.
Yes. Yes. Now, I'm very, very, very cautious with making assumptions of connectivity that is, like you say, simply because I've been paying, I now notice it, right? So I look for some statistical evidence to the contrary, right? So at some point, Bean and I were discussing this about attention and paying attention to things specifically. And during that, well, it's a topic that comes up regularly. But during that time, YouTube's like, okay, YouTube is a channel and there's stuff going on. And I said, yes, but, well, I don't remember the details. But the long and the short of it is, I did I did something different, and we were paying attention specifically to YouTube.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to remember now what it was that I was doing differently. Anyway, I got a comment on a YouTube video, right? One of the videos from the free course, because I post those on YouTube and then I make them public, right? Um, Now, in all the time that I've been on YouTube, which is a good number of years now, if I've had 5 comments, it's a lot. And then, some of those were like, from somebody maybe like you or so, right? Not. I don't think I maybe had one anonymous one, and
Mm.
it was like a sort of a bogus nonsense comment. And this one said, um, man, it was so specific. It was profoundly. It was like, anyway. They said, "Wow, oh, the suggestions," and we were talking about the suggestions because I changed the tags and all that. And they said, "Oh, finally, YouTube suggested something that's actually valuable and useful and good." It was a really cool comment,
Yeah, yeah,
but one.
yeah.
At the time that we are focusing the attention on this, right? Then the thing shifted from that to other stuff and zero more. Just a one comment.
Mhm.
So now, to me, if I go through the details, it's very hard to reconstruct these things. You see how I can't ignore this as being directly attributable to the attention.
Right.
Yeah, otherwise, it's just incredible coincidence. But that wasn't the only thing. There were a couple of other incidents, and they happen regularly. But I feel fairly content with it being the way it is, because I feel that, yes, I know that this is something that can be utilized, but I do feel that the universe is telling you, look, dude, just do your thing and don't try and use this as something to rely on.
Right. Right.
Because anytime a power is yours, it stops being yours,
Yeah.
because you become owned by the power,
Right.
right? So you only own the power for a microsecond, and then the whole situation inverts, and then you basically screwed. So don't
Yeah.
try and own the power. The only way you can really use those powers is to have them but not have them at the
Right.
same time. So, and I think this is the point with attention and materialization. If it's going to happen, it happens. If not, there you go. If
Right.
I'm in trouble, that's a different thing. I've used attention and intent to get out of trouble plenty
Mm.
times. Right? That's a different logic. That's a different logic. So I just wanted to mention this, that it makes sense in the big picture from the universe's point of view,
Right.
right? Because it's looking for you to have responsibility and awareness and so on. Who knows? There may be some point that we get to a point where we can utilize this power on a regular basis and be responsible with it. Yes,
Possibly.
fully. No,
Yeah.
possibly. Yeah. I mean, it's hopefully it's an end goal of some kind, or a major goal, a stepping stone. Certainly part of the Biala story. So anyway, yeah. Attention engages intent. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, keep going, keep going. I was just reading that one there. Sorry, keep going.
Mhm. Our intent is to have more come to us in ways not usual.
That's
Our,
very profound.
mm-hmm.
Now you say, but you might object and say, but why do we want to have it come to us in ways not usual? Why can't we have it come in usual ways? Because first of all, when they come in usual ways, you might not recognize them because, well, they're usual. But that's not the main reason. The main reason is that if you do set it up, that you're making a space, an opening for things to come in the not usual. That also means you're making space for what is not usual to
Mm-hmm.
come to you. And those things that aren't usual cannot come to you in the usual ways because they're too different. So you're making yourself available to moreness, right?
I like it.
Yeah, yeah. But you're now paying attention. So it's sort of a roundabout way of saying this, but it's the practical application of the deeper intent of connecting to moreness,
Mm-hmm.
right? To pay attention and to have an intent for more to come to us in ways not usual. Because the very next thing is for us, obviously, to pay attention to what's not usual.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very powerful, very powerful. Yeah, yeah. Very potent.
Okay. Our attention is a spotlight and floodlight awareness.
Yes, yes. Have you seen that when you've got a lit stage and then they put the powerful spotlight onto somebody on an already lit stage?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it can be, it's typically they make it dark to highlight it more, but you certainly can.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to do that so that you don't end up by default dimming the rest of the lights.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what typically happens with most people. Like in this case of the person on Facebook, he's only zooming in on one thing that helps him prove that he's right and I'm wrong.
Right.
That's all he's interested in. The rest doesn't matter. And he loses his awareness completely and he says such preposterous things like, words always have the same meaning. They can't mean different things. Like,
Right.
in what world are you living in? It's too fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the spotlight and floodlight awareness. Very, very, very powerful. All
right. Whoops. Okay. We slow and enhance our energy with our attention.
Isn't that what we were doing today? Oh, I forgot. But the attention on changing your voice, well, I happen to slow and enhance both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when we pay attention in the appropriate way, we zoom out and in both at the same time. So we slow our energy, but we also enhance.
Right.
Yes? Yeah.
I like it. Our conception of attention is that it's an open and a particular awareness and intent.
Is that so?
An open and a particular awareness and intent. Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's kind of very simple. It's like a duh, really. Our attention is a particular awareness and it's an intent. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a big point, but it's also a very duh point, right?
Yeah.
Those sometimes can be very confusing.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
We pay attention to abstract conceptions and overview perspectives.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I cannot emphasize enough how critically important and life transformative just this one single point.
Mm-hmm.
I see so seldom that there's any attention to overview perspectives or abstract conceptions.
Mm-hmm.
The default is just to go to this particular specific. People are enamored with this and just entranced by it is the word really. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. And they miss so much because of it. It's quite amazing. Quite amazing.
True. Whoops. We pay attention to rhythm, pattern, cadence, what's implied, what's absent, implication, meaning, mood, energy, and especially intent.
Holy moly. I think this is a tangerine trying to be a lemon.
Oh dear. I thought maybe
What the hell? Come on.
face was about the slide. That's funny.
No, 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 no. Oh. These were tangerines I bought from the fruit seller across the road from us here. They got like a little semi flea market there. Just a lot, but anyway, I don't get too many people there. But more than before, a long time ago when we used to do the flea markets, 10, 15 years ago now, we tried that, but didn't have much success. Before we had, anyway. Um, um, but the tangerines are not only more sour than the ones I typically get, but also, man, are they pippy? It's like, man,
Mm,
I could have 5 or 6 pips in one wedge.
wow.
Just wow. Okay, not always, but sometimes. But typically in 2 or 3 slices, you get 5 or 6 pips. It's like,
Right.
what,
Right.
you know, too crazy, too crazy. This paying attention to rhythm, pattern, cadence. I cannot tell you how much moreness I get out of this,
Mm,
and of implication. I think I've mentioned this many times. You want to be smarter, pay attention to implication.
right.
I said direct correlation, direct correlation, direct correlation. Yeah. But the rest too, meaning, mood, energy. I mean, right here's a recipe for living, to enhance what you're doing. You want to be more connected. You want to be more aware. You want to be more whatever. It's a moreness recipe right there. Yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
Oh. Just when you were saying about my screwing my face up at the slide, well, I hope not.
I was
Uh,
curious. Yeah.
yeah, this is something that I might do at some point. Put these out as books,
Yeah.
like as each module, because the workbooks are a big deal now. I don't know if you've seen, right? You see on Amazon, you see them all over the show. To put it out like this, each one as a workbook part of a
Right.
series, and put them out with the slide backgrounds. I can do that. Publish them like this. I don't know how expensive it will make an actual physical book, but certainly for the ebook, it doesn't really matter. It makes
Right.
it a little bit more expensive. It does actually add to the ebook cost, which is really interesting. Now, that just limits your profit, because on the ebooks, you can only go up to $9.99. I don't know if a lot of people realize that.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, that's the maximum you can charge for an ebook. On the paperbacks, I think it's unlimited, but on the ebooks, $9.99.
Yeah.
But the size of your file determines your cost.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I realized this because on the one book I could set it at 99, and then on the second one I couldn't, because, well, it was a bigger file. It's got pictures, and it's got color pictures in it. The other ones just had the cartoons, the black and white. But still, I think that this, even as just the ebooks, and even if it's a bit more in the paperback, I think keeping the backgrounds, it will be quite fun.
Yeah. I like it.
No, no, at least for the ebooks. Anyway, that's something to think about.
Our attention is a capital T trust to receive. Sure. Our
Isn't
attention
it?
connects. What?
I'm saying, yeah. I said,
Mm,
isn't it? But yeah,
yeah.
it is.
Yes. Our attention connects through much all the way to application. Yeah.
All the way to application. Yes, absolutely.
We apply exquisite attention and capital H hearing for the purpose of knowing someone.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
In the context of the hearing and helping now, obviously, right?
We reflect our knowing back without bias.
But before we go further, we apply exquisite attention and capital H hearing for the purpose of knowing someone. That someone can be us.
Right, right.
It's exactly what you are doing, right? I mean, you applying all of this primarily to yourself, right?
Mhm.
You as the client. And this is really huge. And that's what you're doing with your exercise. Yes?
Mhm. True. We
It's
know.
very sorry to interrupt you again. Sorry. You the culprit. Just so you know. It's all your fault.
Nice.
What you may legitimately ask to maintain a different way of being with you, a different voice. Why? Because you engender such earnestness in me and enthusiasm and energy. It's very hard to. So, just
I,
so you know, it's very difficult to shift out of that.
we know others in many, many ways more than we know consciously.
Yes,
Yeah.
and this we know from the "How do I know thee? How do I know me?" poem. Yes, we
Yep.
really do. We just have to connect to it. Yes, we just have
Yeah.
to bring it to deliberate consciousness. Yeah. That's a theme, by the way, which I see repetitively.
Mm.
Everyone I connect to, that's what I feel my job is, to simply assist in bringing to awareness what you already know.
Hmm.
That's it. We have all the magic there already. We just need to connect to it. It's not so much that we need to learn it, but connect to it.
Hmm.
Yes. Or like Donna says, maybe remember it. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know about that, but could be, could be, could be. It's the same end result. It's the same end result.
Right. Right.
Same shift in your underlying psychology. And once we accept this, that's the key point that I want to make here now. I'm just pointing it out as a point of interest, which it is interesting. But when we accept it as a real fact and you've become to notice, oh, yeah, you know what, you're right. I kind of thought I'd learned it, but now that you mention it and I really pay attention, yeah, I did kind of know it. Then you start noticing how much that applies. And then the floodgates open and so much more starts coming. And then you trust it to come. You trust that it's there. That's the key, to trust that it's there.
Yeah.
And to know that you can access it without accessing it. Like, for instance, you can access all of that moreness in me via asking me an earnest question.
Right.
Now, can I give a lecture on whatever it is you're about to ask me that earnest question on right now? No, I couldn't, because I'm not connected to it. But
Hmm.
yet it's in me. The moment you ask that question, boom, the search parameters go and the drive starts spinning and whirring and the strobe lights go off and whatever. And it starts flooding out. Right? It's incredible. It's incredible. So for me, I know my key is earnestness. And I feel for most people it is also.
Hmm.
I certainly observed this even in like in mothers. The kid comes and asks an earnest question, and their first reaction is like, "What the hell? I have no clue." But then because it's an earnest question, they actually really make an effort to answer that, and then the stuff comes. It's really
Hmm.
powerful, very very powerful. But certainly this acceptance, not believing, it's acceptance or acknowledgement really that it's in you, right? And having that proof is very important. You
Right.
okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Just stretching
Do
my
you
neck.
get cramps in your head, particularly at the back?
I'm not sure in
You
my
know, on
head.
those kind of muscly, tendony things at the back of your head.
In my neck, yeah, for sure. Like at the
When I mean the back of the head, where it's I don't know where the neck kind of goes, and it starts to become head. I
right.
get on the head already, at the extension of the neck, but when it's definitely head already, right?
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, like yeah.
Right. I get headaches there, but I don't know that I've ever
Uh,
thought of them as
uh,
like
Well,
cramp.
it ends up being a headache, but it's very on the surface. It definitely feels like the muscles a bit cramped because if I sort of move, then it kind of goes away. But still, I know it's very lately now. Last week or so, this has been quite something. I don't know if it's just maybe I'm sleeping differently or something. I don't know, but
Right.
that's why I asked. That's why I asked.
Interesting.
Interesting. All right. Oh, and session 4, maybe. Maybe. I like that. Maybe. Well, I do remember that's where we were because I looked last time to see how close we were to the end,
Yeah.
and we weren't very far. And I said, well, it's further than just a slide or two. So yeah, so we're in the right place. All right, all right. This is very exciting. This is very exciting. I enjoy doing this stuff with you, Erica. It's really fun.
Me too.
Yeah, giving, leveraging energy. Yes, I feel this is one of the chief power benefits of what we do is this giving of leveraging energy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a massive, massive thing. When we do have this reception and giving of leveraging energy, we get to do more than we could otherwise do.
Yeah.
Appreciation takes energy. The greater the energy, the more we are able to appreciate. The more we become aware of all to appreciate. It all begins with energy and ends with energy. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
My last note I had was that we were on slide 9 of this session. That was where we
Oh,
left off.
oh, oh. That recap was wonderful. I enjoyed that. Well done, Mal.
Ooh. Oh, that
Right?
was interesting. I didn't hear the end of what you said. That
I
buzz.
said I enjoyed that recap. That was really valuable.
Hmm.
So I'm glad we did it again. One moment.
I like the swan.
Oh, yeah. Mm. Four in one. Man.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. A mood is energy. I'm just going to read these to catch up to 9 so that I'm going to go through them fairly quickly. Mood is energy dependent. It's not necessarily an ethical obligation to be happy. But since moods, attitudes, and perceptions are infections, it's our ethical duty to be not negative. Yes, absolutely. There's a mood which is not happy, but neither is it miserable or unhappy. It's the mood of positivity. Yes, resolute positivity. It's a mood of sobriety, for sobriety is at root always positive. And it's a low energy requirement mood, therefore an excellent option when all else is not lining up. It's simply a commitment to positivity with all the realism attached. And in this exercise of paying attention in the moment, recognizing and being aware of our moods, sobriety is a great aid. If we come into a situation and we set ourselves to be sober in that interaction, this enables us to pay attention. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sobriety is actually, the most ideal starting mood for that exercise. Yes.
Mhm.
So, okay, I'm going to skip. This is just on sobriety. It's not optimism. It's a mood of neutrality and to be of service, real service, to provide energy to leverage choice. It's a profound and fantastic gift you can share with others. So it's all related to that. So exercises. Yeah, more of the same. So attention leads to more. So 7. Oh, so pay attention to energy sharing and share what you notice. What did you notice, learn? What affects energy communication, reception, sharing? This is a very cool question. Do we need to go back to the previous slides that led up to this or not?
Um, I don't think so.
Okay. Okay. So, we've spoken much about attention and connecting and hearing and listening, but
Mm.
now we are shifting to energy sharing.
Mhm.
That's a different thing. Yes. So now, not that you remember because we're just starting on this, but I really would recommend make an effort to deliberately energy share and see what happens.
Okay.
Right? It's a very particular exercise, and it's not one that we aren't. Again, it, but it's just not something that you thought to activate
Right.
and enable. Right? You know it. We all know this, right? But this is a very different thing. And well, I don't know, just what comes to mind now. But for instance, something that we know with energy sharing, we don't always do it. Well, some do it on a regular basis, but like when you have the intent to seduce,
Mm.
seduction is all about energy sharing, is it not?
Right. That's true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was going to say, I have no idea how much, you might be familiar with this or not, but okay.
Well, I've certainly watched enough movies to know that's true. Personal
I'm
experience or not.
just being a jackass, that's all. It's just the way you said, oh, okay. it implied maybe there was direct first-hand experience. Well, I should hope so. I should hope maybe you seduced Joe, or somebody else. I hope so. Yeah, it's not, we tend to have a negative perception of seduction, but it's not necessarily. It's simply just a particular form of interaction and communication, right? It's particularly what makes seduction so potent is because, at least, when it's an ethical seduction now, is that it is energy sharing, and it's shifting an intent, and it's acquiring your objective in
Mhm.
non-direct mechanisms, right? So it's very, very powerful example, which is why I bring it up. Very cool, very cool. But still, if now in a non-seductive way to share energy, this is kind of a cool thing, yes.
Yeah.
And so it's a very useful skill. It's a very, very, very useful skill. Very powerful. Yes. Obviously, if you're in leadership from a motivation point, yes. But I see a lot of people in those positions that they don't understand energy sharing. They might understand some about motivating others, but the motivation doesn't come from energy sharing. It comes from essentially kicking backsides, lighting fires, prodding people, stimulating them,
Right.
drawing them, sucking them in, providing incentives, stuff like this. This is not energy sharing, right? Um, One of the people saying about, that ethical marketing, she's saying it's your passion that matters. Like, she said, oh, like you may not have been too particularly interested in a subject at school, but then, I don't know, your third year or whatever, you suddenly get a teacher in history that's all very passionate about history, and suddenly you start liking history. This is energy sharing. Yes? Yeah. At least one good example of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What exactly is your intent, Erica? Your clear intent, Erica, when it comes to being of service and helping others? What's the ethical importance of choice in this intent? Hmm.
Hmm. The ethical
Yeah, that's a very interesting question.
choice in this intent. Well, I guess so. I guess it's making me think that if if you are wanting to truly help others, you have to allow for their freedom of choice. If you set an intent to help another person in a very particular way,
Yeah,
it removes that person's ability to choose that, or choose the way that they want to be helped, then it's not really being helpful.
yeah, 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 yeah. So your service, Erica, Jayne's service, it revolves around choice. Yes,
Um, yeah,
to some degree.
in one aspect, yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you say that when you are being of service, well, at least to people, that you are very conscious that you do wish to add choice, provide different options, etc. Yes, rather than, you know,
Yeah,
give one choice only or prescribe something or insist
yeah.
on something or whatever. You couldn't do that anyway. So, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Why is solution not ours to decide? How exactly do we then share a solution we believe to be valid? Ah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, I think that ties into what we were just saying.
Exactly. It,
It needs to be the person's choice or what's appropriate for them, not necessarily what's appropriate for you.
yeah,
How exactly do we then share a solution we believe to be valid?
yeah.
Um, I mean, I think that's kind of capital S sharing.
Correct.
That's sort
Correct.
of
Exactly.
the point of it is to share your perspective as just that, this is my perspective, or
Exactly.
this is my experience, this is what helped me, rather than saying this is the only solution or this is what you
Yes.
have to choose.
Yes. We share them as hypotheticals, as
Yeah.
possibilities, as alternatives, as options. And, if we're really in a situation where somebody is somewhat vulnerable to our influence, if there's a massive disparity, in other words, and not a disparity of our choosing or design or intent, but theirs. Sometimes you act and they're so overawed by you, whatever you say, they take as gospel. Then, in such circumstances, it's almost valuable to share a range of options that include a bunch of poor options.
Yeah.
And so you're now saying, look, you really got to think about this. Okay, why? And then, oh no, that won't work. Okay, try the next one. Now, in other words, now you're enabling not only option and choice, but also providing an opportunity to practice critical thinking. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a profound responsibility. This, awareness is a profound responsibility.
True.
Yes. Describes so far how you understand the process of coming to resolution, keeping in mind there's more to come.
Interesting.
Yeah, very.
How do you understand the process of coming to resolution?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it sort of depends on the context. I'm trying to think of an example. Um, I guess in general, it would be for me choosing most appropriate option at the time, understanding that there's probably going to be new options available that need to be reassessed, and that whatever options you recognize are probably not all of them. So um, there's always more, but just choosing whatever is most appropriate out of what's in front of you.
So would that include thinking things through to the end?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm thinking of the end of the process. So,
Right. Oh, I see.
you're sort of
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to move forward or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Would you then say, okay, because for me, I took it as the whole process, but yeah, you're right. You could just focus on the end part. Absolutely. Uh, would you also say then that uh, at that point where you've done your perspective shifting to multiple perspectives, you've thought things through to the end, and you said, and then what? And you got no answer.
Hmm.
But now you want to come to resolution, though, and to be resolved. Do you not need to have an ethical resonance?
An ethical resonance. An ethical resonance with what?
Well, whatever it is that your resolution is, right?
Ah,
In other words, if I'm getting there to the end and I think all this through and I've got a bunch of options, and I say, well, I can do this, I can do that, and everything says do this, but it doesn't sit with me, it doesn't resonate with me, so I'm not resolved. If I don't get that deep ethical resonance now, and I say ethical resonance, it's actually just resonance, but because ethics are so important to me, they conjoin. So resonance to me implies that my ethics, my integrity is all in there in any case. So in this case, the ethical is somewhat redundant here and superfluous, but the point is resonance, though. It has to resonate with you, right? That pertinence and relevance, not necessarily key, but it comes into it. But the resonance is very important. If that is not there, then I am not yet at resolution.
hmm.
Even though I may have exhausted all of my leads or avenues or whatever, I won't be resolved until I find the resonance. Right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to bring that in there because to me, resolution implies that you have that deep resonance with what has the conclusion, the result, the decisions that you come to. It resonates,
Yeah.
right? Because we can do things that are logical and sensible and rational, etc., and not have resonance.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. And this is where we say there's more to us. We
Hmm.
know more than we know. That resonance is a mechanism for this. And resolution, likewise. Me, I cannot rest until I have resolution.
Mm.
Rest is maybe the strong word, but I don't stop. until I get to resolution.
Right.
So it's not like I'm stressed until that time. I just keep going until I get to resolution. I have to get to resolution. Otherwise, well, I just won't allow myself to not keep going. It
Hmm.
makes no sense to stop before you have resolution.
Right.
And for you, the same, I assume, yes?
Yeah.
Or similar. Very powerful. Very, very, very powerful. Resolution is a big deal, which is resonance. It's just another word for it, right? Where things fit in balance. Passion finds time, creates time. Apathy kills time. Misguided motivation steals time. Insist on doing what you love. In other words, insist on resonance. Yes?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I think this needs to be formatted here. Yeah, like that.
Mm.
And insist on doing. I don't know. Shall I put that on one line or leave it as is? Insist
Uh,
on doing what you love. Yeah, I think that's better. Passion finds time, creates time. Apathy kills time. Misguided motivation steals time. Insist on doing what you love.
I like it.
Yeah. See, I was listening to my cadence to put in the punctuation. Yes.
Mm.
Insist on doing what you love. On doing what you love. Yeah, I guess so. To read it as it's written. Yeah. But yeah, this is very potent. I think we discussed this probably many times, but motivation is so precious, and I I don't always know how to activate it of its own accord. You know what I mean? It just comes.
Yes, I do.
I think for you too. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Very strange. What we can do? Oh, you read. You read.
What we can do, our responsibility is to enable the process of choice. First, what has to come out has to come out. Release is needed in order to perceive what was internal. To see what's hard to see when it's too close, when emotion and stress cloud and reduce perspective. Here, our energy is what makes a massive difference, as it takes less energy to be negative than to be positive. We share our energy to assist in moving past the negative, to bring the more of the positive into recognition. It seems counterintuitive, and yet when immersed in problem, despite it being negative, that's usually all that's seen, as it takes additional energy to see more.
Wow, I lost the thing there. I have to go back now. What we can do is to enable the process first. What has to come out has to come out. Oh, yes. Release is needed in order to perceive what was internal. Yeah. To see what's hard to see when it's too close, when emotion and stress cloud and reduce perspective. Yeah, our energy is what makes a massive difference, as it takes less energy to be negative than to be positive. We share our energy to assist in moving past the negative to bring the more of the positive into recognition. Yes, it seems counterintuitive, and yet, when immersed in problem, despite it being negative, that's usually all that's seen, as it takes additional energy to see more. So yes, and this is something that is really, really powerful when it comes to ourselves.
Mhm.
If I'm in a low energy and I've got something that's bothering or bugging me, and I'm aware of this, and I want to mood shift out of it, first I have to find a way to get some extra energy, to energy shift in order to mood shift. Yes.
Right?
Yeah, otherwise it's not going to happen. But we can certainly lend somebody some energy for them to then shift out of this.
Hmm.
Yeah, it takes a bit of doing, but it can be done.
I like it.
Hmm.
We supply this needed energy with our emphasized appreciation, our capital H hearing, our patience, the space we make, and our exquisite attention. We add to this with deliberate connection to our responsibilities of assistance, which demand we are in the best of moods, in the highest of energies, whenever we engage in interactions where our assistance is requested and we agree to provide such as best we can.
Yes, that's a very key point there,
Mm-hmm.
where our assistance is requested.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes we, like with that, the commenter in the group, uh, there's not really, there isn't a direct request for assistance,
Right.
but the cry for help is like it's a bellow.
Yeah.
Yeah. They lost. They completely and utterly lost, but they cannot ask for assistance because they're in the ego bubble battle thing, right? To ask for assistance is to acknowledge you're wrong, and this is the last possible thing that you can do.
Right.
So now we get real difficult problems. You know, for the most part, most people understand this, and they just say, "Well, you're on your own," and they just move on, or they don't even say you're on your own. They just ignore the person,
Mm-hmm.
avoid them, better than ignore. But if that's hard sometimes because the universe kind of presses things into you at some point in time, so you can't really always not engage, right? Uh, um, but um, but when you do get, this is a profound bonus when you do get that, because it now gives you that freedom. You have that license to share.
Yeah.
And the license to share is a precious thing. It's super wonderful and precious. So yeah, responsibilities of assistance, very big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very big deal. Yes. Uh, this is something that I see. This needing to be asked always was critical for me.
Right. Yeah.
It still is. It still is. But I see it well in the group. Obviously, everybody doesn't realize, dude. You need to be asked.
Yeah. It's true. Ooh, that's a pretty one. To make sure we have appropriate energy, we leverage our deep commitment and responsibility to be of real and true assistance. And thus, whenever we engage, we focus on this and enable our energy to be appropriate, as this indeed is most important to us, and we understand the power of what is important to us.
Yes.
Our
Yes.
energy is a most precious commodity, gift, and resource we can deliberately use to enable that which is not possible alone or in usual and typical interactions. Through the sharing of our energy, we can truly help.
Yes. Yes. You want somebody to they've fallen into a hole.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, you can reach down, grab their arm, and pull them out. That's the usual way we help somebody get out of a hole.
Right.
Yeah. However, when it's a psychological, emotional growth hole,
Mm-hmm.
you say, could you figure out how to get out of this hole yourself?
Right.
There are many ways to get out of a hole yourself. Say, but it's a hole. I gotta go. Could you maybe dig handholes in the side of the hole and climb out? Oh, yeah, I never thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, well, okay, now I've sort of given you the answer. But if I were to rather say, there is a way, I can see it right now, all you got to do is just think of it. Oh, and now they start thinking, and then they come to it, right? So this is a big shift here when we do this. Now, though, they may not have the energy to be thinking of the solutions
Right.
and energy to climb out of the hole. All right. So now it's a different matter. So yeah, I can get out, but I don't have the energy. I've been trying all this time, and I'm like really exhausted. Okay, yes, a rope tied in your waist. Make your handholds and climb up, and I'll help you and pull you somewhat up. I'll lend you some energy. I'm not going to pull you up entirely. You're still going to make some effort, but sometimes that extra energy is absolutely needed. Otherwise, it's just not possible for it to happen,
Yeah.
right? So this is a big deal. That's a very big deal. Yeah. Again, though, it's how we provide the assistance, right? We do it via providing energy. It's a very different thing to do it via providing solution. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. Okay. It's important to understand how extra energy changes matters. When it's available, it enables more than is usually possible. This is a
Mm.
profound service we can provide. We do provide. We need to understand exactly how. We provide energy via our interest, our care, our concern, our responsibility, our ethics, our impeccability, and our intent. There's
Mhm.
not all that much to energy, except we be aware of it and thus use it deliberately.
Yes, yes. And in that previous paragraph, with some, it is vastly easier than with others.
Yeah, I can imagine so.
And I don't think I need to mention and specify who exactly that some is. It's very easy with you, Eric. Very,
Wow.
very.
Good.
It's a joy. It's a joy. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you leverage my energy because of your moreness
Right, right.
and that deep inherent goodness. This is key. The moreness is not a moreness because of skills and qualities and abilities. No, it's an moreness because of that deep inherent goodness and the connectivity to that goodness and the deliberate deliberation to act on that goodness.
Yeah,
See, there's a one thing to be aware of good things, to want good things. It's quite another to actually act on them.
yeah,
You act on that goodness. You make an effort to act on it, to extend on it, to improve on acting on it, etc., etc. So, you acting and living your goodness is a big deal to you, yes.
yeah, it is.
And when that's present, how can you not, generate interest, care, concern, responsibility, ethics, and all the rest? Right? It has to come. It's automatic. Very easy. Very easy. Yeah, yeah. In other words, when somebody is being real and real in that particular way, you have time for them.
Yeah,
Simple as that. So
true.
I got plenty, plenty, plenty time for you, as much as you need.
I appreciate it.
You want, yes.
Okay, tasks and exercises. How exactly can you be the most useful to your client or yourself or to another in actuality in the realness of longer term? Can you be most useful in the realness of longer term? Oh,
Yeah.
um, most useful in the longer term.
Very open question. Can be
I
101
guess,
things.
I guess the first thing that comes to mind is kind of what you were just talking about instead of like pulling someone out of the hole,
Exactly.
teaching them how to get out of the hole. In the short term, pulling them out of the hole is helpful, but it's not very
Exactly.
helpful in the long term if they keep falling
Exactly.
in the hole.
Exactly. Exactly. And when we get a bit sophisticated, when I come to the hole and I perceive the person in the hole, and I say the only reason they are stuck in this hole is because they have a negative self-image,
Right, right. You
lack of
need to,
trust, lack of
you need
self-faith,
to,
and all this.
yeah, you need to focus on helping them fix the cause of that problem instead
Exactly.
of, yeah,
Exactly. So, and all I have to do is really appreciate them with potentiation.
right,
So if I appreciate, say, wow, this is interesting. You can get out of this, but you choose to be in it. That's or
right.
whatever. But or I say, you can, and I can prove it. And you have moreness, and here's why you have moreness. So I find some way to show this, to
Hmm.
say that I'm not just saying moreness to motivate you and shine. I don't know. Um, butter light up your bunghole. No, not that at all. Right? but so they know it's real. And when there is an awareness that you've shared that's real, that they are more, it it goes crazy. Right
Yeah.
now, because now you're motivated and you don't. It changes everything. And this, I find, this is why moreness, just that one single word, is such a potency because it's a philosophy, it's a mindset, it's everything. It's enabling in the most profound way. All you've got to do is simply share a few things of appreciation or awareness to say, well, this is why you got moreness. It's like, duh.
Right.
Oh. And then it all falls into place.
Yeah.
And then off to the races they go. I see this all the time. It's too fantastic. It's
Mhm.
too fantastic. It's too fantastic. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And also, though, just on a caveat there, or yeah, it is kind of a caveat, I guess. Um, it's one of those lawyerly things at the bottom there, careful, because the person may have so much moreness that it can be overwhelming,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
So, like in the case of Erica Jayne.
True.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Very good timing. We're 3 minutes away from the
There she
ending.
is.
Let me repeat that. Say perfect timing, sure. We're 3 minutes away. We're just going to finish this and chat a little bit. So very cool.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi,
Brilliant.
broadcasting for a reason, so.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Very cool. This is
I can jump off if
Yeah,
guys.
I know, but it's good. It's good just to be on, and let's just continue and just to be observed. So let's continue with what we're doing. It's all good. It's all pertinent and relevant and appropriate. So yeah. Just you keep sharing, sure, and we'll keep doing what we're doing here and paying attention. All right. So what exactly is your passion when it comes to serving and helping others? Is it maybe you providing the solution, or is the end result and so on? Lay out exactly what motivates you and why and how it's justified. I'll stop screen sharing, but all right.
I was gonna say I can't see the question anymore.
Yeah. Sorry, I stopped screen sharing so that I can pay better attention to the sharing, but
Yeah.
it's okay. I'll do this back again. I can still see it in the small. It's fine. It's not that much different actually. So this is a big point here that we're making, to know exactly and clearly why you're interested. And boy, if I ask the average coach this, the answers, if they were truly honest, if you ask them on a universal lie detector, not going to be positive answers,
Right.
and they for self-promotion. So it's very important. Very
Yeah.
important. I'm glad you came on, show, by the way. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very good. So it leverages when they are more in the interaction, Jayne. It leverages the awareness of the observed, in this, that now suddenly the behavior is changed because of potential observation.
Yes, this is true.
So there's the strategy here is yes, I'm being deliberately obtuse here, obviously.
Right.
But it's a powerful strategy. That's why I said us just continuing in this again. What did we say yesterday was the term when we with the wild animals, when you going
Oh,
towards, not
yeah,
at,
I can't remember what you called it, but yeah.
towards but not at.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing here now. We're going towards, not at.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
In our interaction. So it's very cool. It's very cool. Just a nice application of that. It's a nice application. And also with capital H here, if shows basically said one word, and in that one word, if you heard tone, the mood, the energy, the vibe, you heard everything. Yes.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Most fascinating. Most fascinating. So now we have, direct examples here of paying attention to really what I was discussing before. Just the fascination of when there is an immersion deeply into a particular belief, feeling, structure. Yes.
Mhm.
And those shadow thoughts take over, and there's an awareness and a belief that severely distorted into something entirely different. But there's always that little part of awareness which is affected by it's just too fascinating. And then we start to look at the motivations, and we ask, what are the motivations in this question that we said now? Why, right? What exactly is your passion when it comes to what it is that you are doing?
Yeah.
Right? Why exactly do you do what you do? Do you even know yourself what it is that you are doing when you do? And I repeated that actions and behaviors which are done from motivations that aren't entirely clear. And when they do become clear, they are positive motivations. And then you get this loop that says, I was doing something for a crappy reason, and I don't want to acknowledge that I did for a crappy reason. So now I have to pretend that I didn't do it for a crappy reason, and loop, and you can't get out. You get stuck.
Yeah.
Yes, that makes sense. Okay.
That
A
was,
little bit PSA, Erica Jayne. I appreciate that you have to go, and
yeah.
I appreciate being here, participating a little bit in the extra leverage. This is really, it squeezes me profoundly. That compassion that I was saying,
Yeah.
it's a very big deal. However, we cannot always
Are you
choose,
gonna love it, or are you just gonna be
and we
later?
need to develop the ability to be appropriately sober in our compassion, to not be overwhelmed by our compassion as in circumstances like this.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it's mind blowing, but
We're doing this.
zoom out. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And practice patience and discipline, forbearing. And man, Sir has been absolutely heroic in this, like beyond heroic, So
Yeah.
makes one appreciate what we have. Makes one appreciate what we have. Hey, CJ, hello. How you doing, man?
Let me fix the table.
Table is fine.
No, it's not, because you're messing with it.
No, the table is fine, thank you.
So you want it all crooked, huh?
Unless
Table
you
is
want,
fine.
unless you want to stick around, just from a point of that scientific interest, you're more than welcome.
Well, that is always interesting, but I do need to jump off. I have some stuff I have to get done before Joe gets home, but you'll have to fill me in.
Well, sure, before Erica goes, we'll borrow some of Erica's magical, wonderful, beautiful energy. Yes?
I love it.
Do it about energy sharing.
Sending, sharing all of that energy to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's why people do this, by the way. It's to catch that energy.
I like it. I like it.
Energy, and then look, you do this, right? And then you bring it in.
I like it. That makes sense. I like it.
Energy, and you bring
Well, then I'll do the reverse. There's
there you go. Exactly.
sharing it.
Exactly.
Aw.
Can you show Lou again, please? This is really fascinating.
Look at Lou.
That
I'm
Lou,
really feeling sorry for her. I'm about ready to take her back to the shelter.
Do it and I'll leave forever.
different interaction, energy-wise. When
Look at her.
Maria gets out of sorts, she
Yeah.
gets very shy. She
This
doesn't
is
want
what
to
happens
interact,
to her.
doesn't want to be close. I mean, it's just like a person. Lou is just too incredible innocent. Look at this.
Yeah, she is.
Look at Lou. CJ,
No.
what's happening with Lou? What's going on with Lou? Why does she look so unhappy?
Your business.
Say again? I'm just concerned for Lou. Like, what's happening with Lou? I'm curious to know.
Your business.
Not here. All right, you better go, Erica.
All right. Sending love to you all. I will catch up with you soon.
Yes,
Hey, Erica.
Bye,
Good
Cher.
to see you.
Wonderful. And the recording here as well.